So during the last, the liberal legalization initiative, I was working on a municipal election at the time, and the president of the Liberal Party in BC was working the same office as me. And none of us actually thought the Liberal motion would pass. We were hopeful. We thought it would be a 50-50. It ended up passing 77% and has been massively accepted by the party. And so, you get out there, you volunteer with these parties, you just get involved with them. You're going to realize there's a heck of a lot more support there, and that in turn energizes you. It's nice to know that you're not alone in this, that it's not just the cannabis community, that we have more support than we generally know.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Jacob. See you
Thank
on Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter.
Thank you, Jen. Does anybody else have a question? Okay, we got another one here for you.
Hey there, Keith. Why not then, as a strategy, tie into either Bill of Rights or Charter of Rights or freedoms, etc., underneath the medical banner to grab a foothold and attention, because every time the can of worms is mentioned about opening up the Charter of Rights again, it gets political attention. So is there any legislation that you can strategize within the parameters of civil rights, freedoms, etc., and then perhaps maybe secure it to the medicinal aspects of the documents, legislations, rights, etc.? Is there parameters already in place that you can tie into to create a public awareness and political will perhaps could follow? Either it's in the smaller parties or, well, good luck with Harper, but what do you think about that strategy?
Well, I think when it comes to medical marijuana, I do think that the rights, that discussing rights and talking about kind of a rights discourse is an effective strategy. I think it gets more difficult when you talk about kind of financial rights, where it ultimately, this medical marijuana program is actually quite insidious because it maintains a right of access, but it's just an incredibly unworkable system of access. I think that talking to politicians about that, I mean, hell, there's even some conservatives like Scott Reed who get it, and saying, look, we have a right to access. You can't expect us to go to these massive conglomerations. That can be a persuasive discussion, but at the same time, you'll get the guy who says, well, look, just because you have a morphine prescription doesn't mean you can grow opium in your backyard. And that's what we're really coming up against. It's an incredibly tough battle. And that's why I say, rather than spending a lot of time trying to work new legislation with the conservatives, I think it's good to just to talk to these parties and say, look, this is what works, this is what doesn't. Let's find a way forward with the NDP and Liberals. I find there's not a lot of convincing you need to do there, while at the same time, regardless of the merits of the case, I do think we need to challenge every single change in court, and we need to get the court to actually make a definitive decision on that so that we know exactly where our rights lie.
All right. Does anybody else have a question? No? No? Nobody else got a question, Jacob? Okay, Jacob. Well, looks like we've got quite a few minutes there of information and stuff off of you. We really appreciate that. So at this moment, I'd take this opportunity to thank you for coming out and talking to everybody here at the Carpe Diem Cafe.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
And you guys here at the cafe, thank you for coming out to the movie and being involved in the conversation with Jacob. And to all of you, thank you for being people advocating cannabis education. Okay, that's